Hey, Shalom. This is a brother, a warrior. First and foremost, giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Shem Shai, by Shem HaKakodash, double honors to apostles, and those great millstone. Shalom to hopefully elect. Alright, just trying to do my reasonable service. You know, do my diligence. And I thought of something to speak on a little bit here. So I'm gonna title this We can only show you the door, but you have to knock on it. Alright, we can only show you the door, but you have to knock on it. Alright? So Matthew 7:6 says, Give not that which is holy unto the dogs, neither cast ye your pearls before swine, lest they trample. No, Matthew 7:7. So like you. Ask, and it shall be given you. Seek, and you shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. Okay? So what do I mean by we can only show you the door, right? So what I'm saying is that we can only provide to you the information. We can only show you the truth. We can only say like, hey, this is what it is, man. This is what's going on. All right. But it's your, you hear, oh, hey, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are Israelites. And Israel is scattered among all nations. You might hear a brother preaching. You might come across brothers preaching or a video or something like that. All right. That's, that brother showing you the door, giving you the information. It's your job to seek it out, to go deeper, to knock yourself, to start believing, to be like, man, how deep does this go? How much, what do I got to do? How do I receive salvation? All right. That's what you gotta do. And the majority of people are not gonna do that. The majority of people are gonna reject the word. They're gonna hear it and something's gonna offend them, or they're gonna cast it behind them. Well, shoot, Matthew 7:6. Give not that which is holy unto the dogs, neither cast your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet and turn again and rend you. Because they'll watch it and they'll be like, oh, this is trash or whatever. And they might even comment on the video, just to belittle you or tell you that you're wrong, try to correct you, whatever, you know. And they have no understanding. They got no knowledge. They don't know what's going on. If you knew, um, if you understood the truth, you know, you wouldn't, cast it. If you heard it and you understood it, you wouldn't cast it behind you. If it's something that's like, man, I need to look into this. If it's something that's like, dang, that makes sense. You know, um, because the scriptures tell you that the Lord is only dealing with Israel. And then you look into it, Deuteronomy 7:6. You have to actually look into it for yourself. You go to Deuteronomy 7:6 and you see that the Lord has a chosen people. So man, well, I need to find out more about that. That means regardless of what that already cuts the whole, everybody can be saved thing, man. So it's like, well, who are the Israelites then? Well, could I be an Israelite? You start asking those questions start coming to your mind. That could be the Lord calling you. It probably is. And to heed that calling is the best thing that you could do for yourself, man, because the Lord is getting ready to bring great wrath upon the earth. I mean, wrath is already on the earth. You see all kind of, destruction and wars and rumors of wars and riots and civil unrest. In Nigeria, all right, they're out there massacring these Nigerian so-called Christians. And you might be like, well, why would God be letting them get killed like that? They believe in God and they're Christian and all this stuff. Well, it's because they believe in a false God. That's why. And um, it's probably like the majority, the West Africans, like Nigerians and the like, that are Israelites, because Israel is well known for going into Africa. All right, and the diaspora, and Jake just mingling among the heathen. Period. Among the other nations. Period. Throughout many years has given many Israelites that are among other nations and look like other nations. And so it's a spiritual thing. The Lord has to open your eyes. The Lord has to open your mind to this. But yeah, they're getting massacred. They're getting slaughtered out there because they're worshiping Esau. They're worshiping a false image, a false God. And even if they don't worship that image, they're not worshiping the true. They don't know the true names. They don't know the true doctrine. They don't. They're calling upon the name JC, right? We know what that name is. They're calling upon JC. They're not calling upon Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai Bashem HaKakodash, all right, which is the Most High and His Son, in the name of the Holy Spirit. And that's why they're getting butchered. That's why they're getting massacred out there, because they're not covered by the truth. They're not covered by the blood of Yahweh Shai. You know, they're worshiping idols and they're worshiping false you know, names. All right. So we can only show you those things. We only tell you, like, look, Esau, set up this whole Christianity thing, all right, in order to enslave you. All right, he put up that image. He put his own image as the image of God, so that people would worship him, so that nobody would question his authority. All right, so he could say, well, see, look, we're these people in the Bible, okay? The so-called Jews. This is what the image of God is. This is what God looks like. So, and there's a lot of scriptures I go to. I'm trying to make this pretty quick. You could look up first, was it 2 Thessalonians 2 and 3, and it tells you, he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God, right? And that word for God is Allah, just means power. It just means that he, is a judge. He's been set up as a judge and a ruler in the earth. All right. And Job 9:24, it tells you the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, right? And all these things, we can only show you these things. It's up to you. All right. Well, really up to Yahweh Shem Shai, whether he's going to open your mind or put it in your mind to look deeper into it and to start believing and to start keeping the commandments and to start, walking in the spirit. All right. And growing in knowledge, wisdom, understanding to the point where you start teaching it, where go out in the highways and the hedges, you start preaching and putting up lessons and so on and so forth. But you have to, you gotta ask, you gotta pray, you gotta believe. You get those names. That's why we present. That's why we begin the videos by giving all praises to Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai by Shem Kakodash, so that you can give praises to those names, so that you can call upon those names. Right? Matthew 7:7. Ask and it shall be given you. So you go to the Lord and you say, Lord, open my eyes, teach me more. I want to learn more. Seek and you shall find. You search it out. Start watching videos. Read. All right. Research. Study. Do your diligence. Knock and it shall be open to you. Start keeping the commandments. Start what? Hey, well, what do I got to do? Oh, you gotta put off wickedness. You gotta stop doing certain things. All right. Your conscience bearing witness either against you or confirming you that you're on the right path. All right, and the scriptures are going to show you right from wrong, so you're going to know. So and they, and it's going to be a fight because Satan doesn't want to let go. Satan's not going to stop trying to get at you. Okay, for everyone that asketh, receive it, and he that seeketh find it, and to him that knocketh it shall be open. Right, and you're gonna have grace. You're gonna have grace. Okay, but the more you grow, all right, the more is going to be expected of you. The more understanding you have, the more is going to be expected of you. Okay, and you got to keep that in mind as well. Like, and then there's no turning back. Right? There's no turning back. But we can only show you the door. We can only show you who, the so-called white man is Esau, Edom, the twin brother of Jacob, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. That's the 12 tribes. All right, we can only show you and teach these things. It's up to you it's up to you how about Shemi Shai, but us, to put it in your mind to do these things, but you gotta seek, you gotta knock on the door, you have to perform. All right, you gotta dance. All right, we're singing the song, we're piping, we're playing the instruments. It's up to you to dance to the tune, to learn the tune, and start. You pick up the instrument and start playing it yourself. All right, and that's what it's all about. And then you play that tune the right way. All right, because it tells you. All right, in Romans 12:1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of Yahweh Shema Shai. That mercy is Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai is our mercy. He gave us grace. All right. He allowed us to be able to receive the understanding. Okay. To be able to come back to the law, statutes, and commandments, to be able to come back to the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai. All right. That you'll be able to grow, that you'll be able to excel, that you'll be able to, you know, be safe. The fear of Yahweh Shema Shai, there's safety in that. Okay, there's a defense in that. Your faith in the Lord is the shield. It talks about the shield of faith. It says that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, wholly acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. Right? And be not conformed to this world, right? You want to conform yourself, right? But be you transformed by the renewing of your mind, by these scriptures. That's what's gonna renew your mind, because you're gonna be, thinking scripturally. You're gonna be thinking spiritually. You're gonna start having disdain for the world. You're gonna start hating the world. You're gonna start hating a lot of things and start separating yourself and getting away from a lot of things. It says that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of Yahweh Shem Shai. Okay, and so you become a new creature, a new person. You get further and further away from the old man, from the flesh, and move towards Yahweh Shem Shai more and more. The Lord said if you set your face towards him, then he'll set his face towards you. But you got to do it in truth, sincerity, honesty, no ulterior motives, no undertone intentions. Like, it's got to be straight up righteous the right way. Okay, you're not going to be perfect. Nobody is. All right. But in your will and your, exercising to be righteous and to be as perfect as you can be, all right, in the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai, doing the will of the Lord, doing things that please the Lord, doing what you got to do, doing your diligence, all right. Within those parameters, within those things, you become acceptable. The Lord, you can pray to the Lord, like, but if you got ulterior motives, all that shit's gonna be revealed, bro. If you're doing things wrong, if you ain't sincere, all those things will be revealed. You can't hide those things from the Lord. You're not gonna get away with that. The Lord's not gonna answer your prayers. The Lord's not gonna deal with you. He's not gonna help you out. He's not gonna, push you along because you're gonna consume it upon your lust. You're not thinking right. Your mind's not in the right place. Your heart's not in the right place. Okay, so that's the most important thing, is to be sincere, to be honest with yourself, to be honest with Yahweh outside, to really do what you got to do, put away what you got to put away, and put on what you got to put on. Okay, so hopefully that's edifying, man. We can only show you these things, but you got to apply it. You have to apply it to yourself. You have to put it on. You have to put on the armor, put on the garments, the holy garments, spiritually. All right. You got a lot of um, Israelites that'll teach you, oh, you got to wear your garment all the time. And they'll be walking around with t shirts with fringes on them. Nah, man, when you put on the garment spiritually, man, you're walking in the spirit, man. All right. You gotta be able to have that kind of subtlety. It tells you in the scriptures to be wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove, man. You gotta be, have that. You grow in understanding, and you might start off a certain way, like, oh man, I gotta keep, but eventually you're gonna find out, bro, that you need grace. You need how about some outside, man. You can't be perfect. You can't be perfect in the law. It's not possible. But you can, do your best and stay away from things that are off, you know, and just conduct yourself righteously to the best of your ability, which will draw you closer, draw you near to Yahweh Shema Shai, Bashim Al Chakwadash, and then you answer your prayers and help you along, and so on and so forth, Eventually, um, I don't know, but eventually, I'll say eventually, miracles are going to be performed, and all these different things. You're gonna go through. We're gonna go through hard times. We're gonna go through tribulation because the end is coming. The end is soon to be, very soon to be. They're pushing the microchip. You know what I mean? They're pushing these miracles through the mark of the beast, which is the RFID microchip. And so things are gonna get harder and harder because Esau's system is collapsing. Uh, so the squeeze is gonna get tighter. The heat's gonna get hotter. Gonna get turned up. All right, but the Lord's gonna guide you through it and keep you safe, and your family, and you got children, you got women, you got those things. But you have to put away these false idols and these ideologies. You got to follow the true doctrine. All right, you got to learn. The elders and the apostles of Great Millstone are the men of the Lord, man. They're leading the flock in the right way, in truth and in sincerity, man. But even then, you know, you still want to do your diligence, and the things that you learn, you research and look up for yourself, so that you have that understanding for yourself, and it's not secondhand knowledge that somebody else is given to you, but you actually see it, you actually put in the work, and um a much there is a return for that work and that effort that you put in, to establish it and persuade yourself in your own mind and be like, oh, go into these things and really research them for yourself, so you can be grounded in it and be rooted in it. So hopefully it's edifying, man. Give all praise and honor, glory to Yahweh, Bashim Yahushua, Bashim Hakwadash, that belongs to the apostles, and those great millstone, and shalom to the hopefully elect, man. Until next time.